The playoffs began with a trip to the 1.5 mile Speedway in Homestead, Miami. Week 2 took us to the Charlotte Roval, and Week 3 takes us to the half-mile short track in Virginia. Hi everybody, welcome back to Sim TV in the Area Lodgebox Series for the third round of the playoffs, and the third to last weekend of the season for the 20 or so drivers who have joined us here tonight. Despite the presence of the paperclip, everything will be everything but organized later by the end of tonight. 190 laps from the short track tonight. Kyle Heyer joined by Hunter Sleppy. Hunter, welcome aboard. Practice underway, heading into qualifying here shortly, but just under 200 laps is our race distance tonight. I guarantee you it'll be chaotic.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Monday night for the Cup Series and Tuesday night for the Truck Series, absolute chaos. Short track being short tempered. We saw a little bit of that in both nights of racing, and there's no doubt in my mind that it will continue tonight for the Lodgebox Series.
There's a look at Martinsville Speedway from high above. Just about a half-mile racetrack in the shape of a paperclip. It's been in the sport of NASCAR for a very, very long time. Decades, in fact, Hunter, ever since the beginning of the sport. Originally kicked off as dirt. It's seen some surface changes throughout the years, but it's been largely unchanged in the last couple decades or so, and it puts on some amazing racing. But every time you come here, you have to talk about the bumping and banging that happens, how aggressive you have to get to go fast around here, and the potential for late race moves to move each other out of the way.
Yeah, we saw that Monday night with Jake Nichols, who dominated every single lap up until about 4 laps to go, and then Nick Johnson had to use his car and move him out of the way to get the lead, and some more beating and banging behind him, but ultimately Nick Johnson got penalized in that one, and Jake Nichols wound up getting the win out of that. But you do have to use the bumper in order to get around someone. There's no way you can do it cleanly. You have to do it with aggression.
Well, the track's been around since 1947. It's the only track that's been persistent on NASCAR's schedule the entire time. Practice underway on the left-hand side of the screen. There are your runners here in practice. In a moment, we'll go over the point standings, Hunter. But at the top, you see 3 of our playoff competitors, including James Scioli at number 7, who has won the last 2 races. So if he could go 3 for 3 tonight, he'd certainly be on a hot streak as if he wasn't already.
Yeah, Scioli's really kicked things off well for the playoffs. As you mentioned, he won the first 2 races, being at Homestead and the Charlotte Roval. Homestead was kind of the, that's a little strange, because he's been up front for the ovals, but the road courses he's just been so dominant in, and just to see it go well at Homestead, really a shock to some drivers, but for most it was a long time coming, and James has won the first 2 playoff races, looking to make it 3 in a row, as he's currently 3rd quickest on the chart.
Well, here's a look at your point standings coming into the night. And all the drivers in red, they are below the cut line after next week's race at Michigan. Alan Elwood, Shane Terrian, James Scioli, and Davey Hendricks, they're all above the cut line. Hearn, Senesac, Grant, and Thomas, though, they've got work to do. And as we've seen the last couple of nights, this track is extremely unpredictable, not because you can't control your own destiny. You can, but someone else can uproot it from you later in the night. So there's a lot of responsibility required by all drivers to make sure they come out the other side in one piece. We also saw in the Cup race on Monday night that despite the race mostly going caution with single car spins, one of our only multi-car accidents really triggered off a lot of drama. So the tempers will be shorter than the racetrack tonight.
Yeah, they sure will, as you look at the standings. And top 2 are basically how they left off from the first round. Alan Elwood, Shane Terrian winning the bonus points for winning the regular season championship, and Elwood having all the wins and bonus points with himself. They basically lock in at a tie for that top spot. Scioli with the 2 wins as he's gotten over the playoffs. He's gotten more points on the cushion as well. Davey Hendricks, another Elwood design car, only 3 points to the good, and currently the quickest man in practice, Cameron Hearn, 3 points out. Senesac also 3 points out. Garrett Grant 7. Richard Thomas 9 points out. So it's all close, and all those guys on the bottom have an opportunity at finishing inside the top 5 and top 10 if they want to have a solid run heading into next week's race in Michigan.
Here's a look at Davey Hendricks, currently the last runner in terms of the playoff competitors on timing and scoring here in practice. Now, we didn't see practice be a huge indicator of overall race speed the last couple of nights, but Hendricks certainly doesn't seem to quite have the pace of those ahead of him. Neither does Richard Thomas in the number 1. He's currently scored 15th. best time of a 19.813. The good news is it's only about 2.5 tenths off the front runner Cameron Hearn right now. So the gaps here are very, very small, and it's just about getting through the race. I don't think overall speed is going to have a big influence on where you finish tonight. I think your strategy when you hit pit lane, how you avoid the cautions, and how you don't become the caution, those are really your biggest factors coming into a night like this. Let's have a look here at the weather information as well. Having a look at the air temp, 69 degrees Fahrenheit, 76 on the racetrack. And 76 is actually one of the coolest temperatures we've seen all week here, Hunter. So as it drops down to 75, we might see track temp fall down to ambient air temp. And we've been over 100 in the other two races here this week, so that's going to be a pleasant surprise for all the drivers that were expecting warmer.
Yeah, going to be really cool temperatures. Going to have a lot of grip compared to the previous races that we've had over the weekend at Martinsville, and I can't wait for this. We're only 4 minutes away from qualifying. From what I've seen, it's going to be chaotic, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Here's a driver that did not continue in the playoffs. That's David Weishart, the number 33. Right now running fourth. Travis Beckner, another driver that was eliminated. So was Colin Fambro, running fourth, fifth, and sixth here in practice. It's a frustrating night to come in not knowing that you're not going to be competing for a championship. The big difference, though, is now that you've got that weight off your chest, you can go out there and try to win races. And that's got to be kind of fun to get that off your shoulders. As we said Monday and Tuesday night, you can just go out there and race differently than the drivers that are still racing in the playoffs. That's got to be a little bit freeing. See Travis Beckner give a shot to the 67 there. Maybe a sign of things to come tonight.
I would hope not. That's a teammate. They're both part of Elite Entertainment.
Does anybody really have teammates here tonight? Maybe early on, but late in the going.
Closer to losing one.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right. You're onto something there. So and not everybody is going to be friendly, not even your teammates. So early in the race, I think you're going to try to keep your nose clean and keep your enemies from forming. But later in the race, I think it's sort of inevitable that you're going to have some bumping and pushing. The challenges all this week were set up, and the struggles that drivers were having, especially Monday. It seems like drivers are a bit more comfortable with the way the cars are driving tonight, though, Hunter.
Yeah, from what I've heard, the setup from Weishart, you can actually drive in this car, because Monday night the Cup setup was not one to the driver's liking. It was like racing on ice. You had to tiptoe the car a lot, and anytime you overstepped the boundaries, it created a spin, and that's what we saw most of the night. Monday night, just single car spins in the middle of the corner, on the exit of the corner, over by turn 2 and turn 4. That was really the trouble spot all night long, and a lot of drivers, I believe all the chase drivers, had some sort of contact from different car in that Monday race.
Yeah, a lot of them really struggled with contact from various places or people. You mentioned the middle of turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That was really the trouble spot here. Top of the screen, this area here. When you enter the corner here, you're accelerating up off of turn 2. You head down the back straightaway. You jump on the brakes into turn number 3. And right as you release that pedal, the balance shifts. And depending on how much steering angle you've got, you can really turn things around very, very easily. The Cup cars especially had trouble with this. The trucks not so much. They had more issues on corner exit, throttling up off of the corner. And you basically get on throttle right at the late middle and throttle right up against the fence. So in these Xfinity cars with about 650 horsepower, keeping the tires underneath you for the duration of a run, that'll be an additional challenge.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that transitions for the Lodgebox series. I know trucks, they had a good bit of carnage as well Tuesday night, and if the trends are right, then it's going to happen tonight.
Yeah, again, Monday night was mostly single car incidents, single car spins. Tuesday was a little bit more bumping and grinding, but that's something you expect with the trucks. We'll see how the area Lodgebox Series competitors deal with those challenges tonight. We have a 20-car field, which is a little bit smaller than we had on Monday and Tuesday, which should help things a little bit, Hunter. Once we cleared out the back 6 or 7 drivers the other day, things really did go green for longer in the Truck Series race, the CNC Logging Truck Series. So starting with a smaller number of cars, I think will bode well. But we head to Michigan next week, and that's going to be a cutoff race for our final 4 competitors for the area Lodgebox Series playoffs. So tonight is the night that you would expect to be the eliminator, not necessarily the other way around where Michigan's going to be the elimination. So you can't necessarily rest on your laurels here. For some drivers, this will be the track that they're going to perform better at. Michigan, you're on edge a little bit more. So I don't think you want to go into Michigan hoping you have to do well. You want to leave here with a pretty solid points cushion and know all you have to do is finish.
Yeah, you need to, because Michigan, if you're running like 8th or 7th, it might not cut it. And really tonight, some of these drivers, like we saw Monday night with Nick Johnson, they had their chance at trying to make it into the next round, had to do what they needed to do, but ultimately it did not go well for them. And now they put themselves in a pickle for Michigan. So you don't want to get yourself in a pickle tonight. Just want to run a clean, be as clean as possible, want to run a clean, solid race and be there at the end when it matters.
First car's on track here for qualifying. 10 minutes go up on the board. Quickest lap puts you on pole. Cameron Hearn sets himself up in turns 3 and 4. Again, you see all the marbles on the high side of the racetrack. That was a topic of discussion as well for overall track grip, but Hearn will take the green flag. And the number 67, he's a playoff competitor. And here I really do think qualifying matters, just staying up front. I don't think you necessarily have to start there, but get there and then don't pit yourself out of the lead until you absolutely have to. Track position's so important for staying out of trouble, and I know Cameron Hearn knows that. We'll see how he does on his first lap.
Yeah, Cameron Hearn had a win earlier this season at Phoenix at a track that was about 1 mile in length. So kind of like a short track Phoenix is, but this is a half mile. The only other half mile track that we went to was Bristol, and that was won by Ryan Hartz, but he is not competing tonight. So we've got to look at the next highest track up there. Davey Hendricks now going up. He won on 1.5 miles in controversial fashion. And with the way this week's been going to Martinsville, it wouldn't surprise me if we have another controversial finish here tonight.
Yeah, up to third for Davey Hendricks. And have a look in turn number 3. Locking up that left front tire big time there, going off into the corner. And this is something that I noticed a lot, even just practicing, getting a feel for how the setup is at this track. Watch the tire locks up. That's going to heat up that left front tire a lot. We're going to see more lockups tonight. These brakes are more powerful. They're bigger. These cars are a little heavier, so they're going to be a little bit more unwieldy to get slowed down. So Hendricks is fourth in the number 94 right now, and that's not exactly the time I think he was hoping for. Here's Shane Therian in the number 38, rather. Here he comes, the Flat Out Racing Network number 38, and he will begin his flying laps. Greg Mitchell just jumped up to second.
Yeah, Therian really didn't have that good of a first round, but he had the points gap to kind of set himself up for the second round. So if he really wants to have a shot at a championship, you're going to have to have a solid run here tonight, as he loses it almost coming out of 4, and that's going to put him 5th quickest.
Yeah, not exactly what he was hoping for, I'm sure. Travis Beckner just jumped up to second place. Here's Richard Thomas, another one of our playoff competitors. Into turn 3, they've got the lime green number on the timing and scoring, and the lime green spoiler and banner.
Oh, I don't know if you heard that. We got thunderstorms over here in my area. That was loud.
Well, thankfully I didn't hear it. It probably would have scared me, so best of luck to you over there, I guess. I'm used to big storms being in the Midwest, but that's always scary. Hopefully your power stays on as well.
Yeah, hoping. I don't know if it'll be on for much longer if it keeps going like that. Wow, that was big.
Alan Fambro up to third place at the GoPro 54. Jacob Hudson goes 10th quick. And Alan Elwood is waiting on pit lane to roll in the High Banks Podcast number 49 Toyota Supra. There he rolls now. Joshua Franks is rolling as well. Elwood, another one of our playoff competitors. And here's one other look at the championship standings. He is your points leader, but tied with Therian. So maybe there's a goal tonight to walk out of here beating the number 38. But I'd say both of them are pretty okay, all things considered, as long as they both finish inside the top 5 or so.
At the Elwood group, they've been fast all year long, and I think for Elwood, if they can get at least 2 of their cars, including himself, into the championship 4, that's going to set them up well for the team side of things. But, you know, there's a possibility where all 4 drivers could be in the championship 4.
Great lap for Elwood up to second place, the 19.596. They'll go for a second lap here. Great car control. Accelerates up off of turn 4. Good grip on exit. And across the line for Elwood. Not quicker, though. He will stay second fastest. Dominic DeLeo on track in the number 46 Mustang.
DeLeo decided to make a start tonight in Martinsville. Currently 5th quickest for that number 46 car. He wants to branch out with Physicus Motorsports and run an Xfinity car operation, and that's currently what he's getting done here. And just getting a feel for the car and then set himself up for season 3.
A.J. Roderick, the number 56, down to 64 miles an hour at mid-corner and up on the back straightaway. Should see north of 120. Down into turn 3. Charge turn 3 a little bit hard, had to jump on the brakes to rotate it. And out of turn 4 for Roderick, a 20.057. That's only good enough for 11th. Seidenfeiden on track now in the 45.
Yep, Stephen's had some solid runs over here in the Lodgebox series. We'll see how he runs here at the paperclip, coming across the stripe to start his lap.
Into turn 3, nicely slowed down, and just getting the car rotated is half the battle here, and accelerates up off of turn 4, a 19.912. That's going to be good enough for 10th place as David Weishart takes to the track. He was pretty quick in practice, 4th best on the timing sheets.
Weishart won at Rockingham, which is, it kind of feels like a short track. It's just a hair over a mile in length, but Weishart runs really good in these Lodgebox cars, really likes the grip of the car itself, and he comes across the stripe to complete his first lap, 4th quickest.
That seems where he's been stuck tonight, but that's not a bad place to be stuck inside the top 5. And yeah, Rockingham does have those short track tendencies, and that could prove to be useful here tonight. Certainly not a track where you're playing with full throttle or even just lifting or getting into the brakes pretty significantly. You also see a lot of crossover in road racing drivers as well with tracks like Martinsville. So much is the threshold braking and knowing how to trail brake and roll off the brake pedal the right way. So you see a lot of crossover with road racing and short track racers in terms of their applicable skills, even though they might come from very different backgrounds.
Here's Bryce Senesac in the 09. He's entering tonight, 3 points outside of the cutoff as he gets it really high over there in 3 and 4. Get that launch off of corner exit.
A little surprised to see him that high up. Again, we've documenting this week how slippery the marbles have been. And people have been trying this run high in 3 and 4 to build a run on the front straightaway technique. I haven't really noticed if it's been gaining them a lot, but I guess we'll see what Senesac can do here. Grabs the curb a little bit through turn 4. Makes him spin the tires, only a 20.057 that time through.
I think we saw Hearn run the top over in 3 and 4 before he went out in his qualifying time. It got him P1.
Down to 3rd gear, shifting the car a little bit. That's something we definitely saw in the Cup Series race on Monday. Big slide for Senesac, but picks up a couple tenths. And it's going to be good enough to launch him up to 10th place. But shifting's an interesting strategy. Not something we saw in the Truck Series. We definitely did see it on Monday night. Of course, these cars are more analog to the trucks in that they have the old-fashioned H-pattern 4-speed dogbox gearbox instead of the 5-speed transaxle sequential that the Cup Series cars have. And James Scioli comes into the night with the last 2 races as his victories. Late qualifying effort, hoping for the weather to cool off a little bit more, and it has a couple more degrees from where we started. Into turn 1 for Scioli.
Sorry, I had to fix the title of the Twitch stream. It was not updated. I'll fix that. But this is probably the hottest driver in the Lodgebox series. He's won the last 2 races, and those happen to be playoff races for the 7 of Scioli. 7th quick on his first lap. We'll see what he can do on lap 2.
Yeah, locked it up a little bit in turn 1. Big tank slapper out of turn 2, and I think he's going to bail on that lap and send it up into the fence. So not going to be any better than 7th for Scioli. There'll be an inside row start as long as Jordan Martin, Dustin Carroll, Edward Morris Jr. doesn't displace him. Here's the number 77 into turn 3.
Well, that's how you can tell it's Jordan Martin. He's got his name on the car.
About as easy as it gets for us up here in the booth across the line. An 19.821 goes 10th fastest. And big lockup again. We've seen that a lot, that left front tire. Driver struggling to get the car slowed down.
Now, Jordan said he was going to go out and have all the confidence in the world that he was going to run well tonight in the Lodgebox series. We'll see if he improves on lap number 2, was 10th quickest on lap 1, and it looks like he'll stay 10th quickest on the track. So that 77 car has some work to do if he wants to run inside the top 5 tonight.
Yeah, about 300th slower, so pretty much equal on that second lap, but not faster not fast enough to jump up and try to get Garrett Grant in 9th place. So your pole sitter for this will be Cameron Hearn in the number 67. He'll share the front row with Alan Elwood. We'll roll through the entire starting grid here in just a couple moments. But 190 laps going up on the board here, Hunter. This is not a short race. We've seen these races go about 2 hours or so here this week, but it depends heavily on how many cautions we have. If this race goes green, it'll be pretty short, but our expectations for entirely a green flag running race are pretty low. It's just the nature of Martinsville. You're going to have cautions early, you're going to have cautions late. It's that middle portion that stands a chance to go green for a while, and you have to be ready to plan for that in your strategy tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping we can get some good green flag runs, and we saw a little bit of that Monday. Wish we could have seen more of that, but it's a different car, different setup. Drivers liking this setup a lot better. I think we're going to see a little less caution, still see some, but we'll see definitely some more green flag runs here at the Paperclip.
And it's late in the day here as well, so that's something to consider. The sun going down as we get rolling through our starting lineup here. Row number 1 in the number 67, that's going to be Cameron Hearn. Playoff competitor will roll off alongside points leader Alan Elwood. He's your front row, Hunter.
2, Travis Beckner can roll off P3, and P4 is the 33 of David Weishart.
Starting row number 3, Colin Fambro, the number 54. Dominic DeLeo, and the number 46 Ford rolls off in 6th.
Row 4 will find the 7 starting 7th, James Scioli, who's won the last 2 races, and Greg Mitchell, the Facetious Motorsports driver, going to roll off P8 in row 4.
Row 5, Garrett Grant in the number 5. He'll start alongside the number 77 of Jordan Martin.
Row 6 going to be Shane Therian and Bryce Senesac, a couple of playoff drivers, wanting to run inside the top 5, trying to get a solid run in tonight's race.
Row number 7, Richard Thomas in the number 1, and Chris Seidenfeiten, the red and yellow car, rolls off 14th in the number 45.
Then row 8, the 56 of AJ Roderick, going to roll off 15th, and 16th for Smith in the 84.
Behind them, Joshua Franks in the number 9 rolls off 17th. Jacob Hudson starts in 18th in the number 22 car.
Row 10 going to be Davey Hendricks, the deepest of those in the playoffs, going to roll off 19th and 20th, Dustin Carroll, and then last but not least in the row, all to himself, that last car in line, and that is none other than Ed Morris Sr. So 21 cars for tonight's race, 190 laps, looking at a fuel run of maybe 140 to 150 laps, but kind of like what David Weishart said Monday night, I was talking to him about fuel pre-race, he said that fuel shouldn't be an issue because we'll have a lot of yellows. So he's real optimistic about going green flag racing.
Yeah, I think as we've seen the last couple of nights, you're not really going to have to worry about coming down pit lane if we get a lot of yellows, but we did see drivers come down the other night in the CNC Log and Truck Series race. So I do expect that if we get some green flag running in, you'll see drivers come down just for a set of Goodyears and to just top off that tank. But if we get a lot of yellows back to back to back to back and not a lot of green flag running, I think you could easily go from green to checkered tonight. Only about a 90-mile race, just over. And that's pretty easily doable if you're saving fuel the whole time, which everyone's going to be planning on doing. As soon as that first yellow flag comes out, Hunter, we're going to be saving fuel.
Yeah, fuel saving might be a concern for some of these guys. That all depends on how we get going here in the handful of laps.
Down the back straightaway and getting set for green flag racing, 190 laps. Round 3 of the 2022 Area Lodgebox Series playoffs is about to be underway. Next week, we eliminate 4 of our top 8. Today, we go racing at the Paperclip. Green flag flies, and we'll race it at Martinsville, the Paperclip. Lap 1 complete. Cameron Hearn leads the way over Alan Elwood. Spin in turn 4. The number 9's turned around. Joshua Franks.
Yeah, caution out on lap 1. Looks like Dustin Carroll got involved in that just at the very end as well. We already saw him up the track over there in 3 and 4. We'll take a look at our replay again. And it looks like he might have just... He got in too hot right here. Carried it into the wall and then just trying to get it out and just... loses the car, and then in comes the 4, just scraping on the driver's side.
Yeah, just gets up really high, gets into the marbles. And when he gets back on throttle, it just loops around. And ooh, that was a tight squeeze there. A little bit of damage to the Ford Dustin Carroll. Here's what it looked like on board. Oh, shooting that gap. It worked out for him. A little bit of damage. I don't think that'll be much of a concern at a track like this, though.
No, we saw Ryan Hartz take a hit directly on the front of the car, and it felt like it made his car faster. He got a nice podium finish out of it.
So those two drivers will hit pit lane, the 4 and the 9. Up front, Cameron Hearn leads the way. The strategy the other night I thought was the one to go with, Hunter, was stay out as long as you can, as many cautions as you can. Once you get to halfway, then I would pit if you feel like you need to pit. Otherwise, I wouldn't leave this top spot. You have control of the restart. Everybody's behind you. I like where that 67 is. I like where the 28 is. I like being on the bottom. I like being towards the front. I don't like coming down pit lane early or even in the first half of the race.
Yeah, we could see the Jake Nichols strategy, which just stay out and save fuel under caution. If it continues like this, where we have a couple of green flag laps, then a caution. Jake Nichols didn't even need to pit from Monday night, so he won the race with 200-lap old tires compared to everyone else in the field who made at least one pit stop throughout the night.
Other thing to consider is, we talked about the sun setting and going down. Look how late it is. It's going to get dark here by the end of this thing, given that we just kicked the race off, and if we get a bunch of yellows, we could go about 2 hours into this race. And I think the darkness is going to be a concern. Do we have lights here at Martinsville nowadays, Hunter?
Oh, we sure do. Well,
we do have
lights.
I'm
not Apocryphus, but yes, this track does have lights.
I forgot they added that. All right, great. My fears go away. So that was intentional then, would be my guess. It all comes together.
It's not like the new Atlanta where they still don't have lights.
Here I was thinking that there was a mistake. There is definitely not a mistake. We're going to be racing under the lights here tonight and not in the dark. Cameron Hearn on the inside, Elwood on the outside, two of our playoff competitors. You can see those competitors in the lime green numbers on the timing and scoring. And coming back to the green flag this time, lap number 7. Let's try it again. 67's the control car. Green flag back in the air.
Yeah, that's one thing that you're going to have as the leader, the advantage, as Elwood tries to get around on the outside. Not going to work out too well. Leader can go anywhere he wants as soon as the pace car hits pit road, and you saw Monday night. If you're restarting as the leader, you can go anywhere you want, and that just offsets the guy in second, because every time you can restart in a different order, and it'll get him off guard.
The battle back here behind, or next to the 38 of Shane Therian. To the inside is the 2 of Greg Mitchell, and on the outside behind him was the 77 of Jordan Martin. Jordan now tucks in line. A couple laps under green here. I like the trend that we're trending. But Cameron Hearn, Elwood, Beckner, Fambro, your top 4. Fambro's got pressure from Weishart in the 33.
And Fambro missed making it into the next round last week after Roble was very close there. So he's just looking to get a win now that he's out of the playoffs, just trying to ruin the playoff hopes for the rest of these guys.
Here's a driver with playoff hopes and is in a good position so far in the playoff. Shane Therian in the 38, defending from Greg Mitchell, who's on the inside, and Greg will actually slot in behind the 38, so that was a pretty strong run by Therian to drop into line, and now Jordan Martin puts pressure on the 2.
Therian trying to run the outside over there in 3 and 4. Not really sure how that's going to work out for him.
Up front, no change. Hearn leads by 0.4 of a second. The battle is a little bit deeper in the field, just outside of the top 10. Fambro still feeling pressure from Weishart.
But at some point, the message will be delivered from the bumper saying, hey, I'm here. You either move or I move you.
A little early for that, I would think, but I guess we haven't really seen how these drivers are going to race each other tonight. I would imagine that you'd wait until a little later to start pushing and shoving. You don't want to create enemies on lap 14 of a 190-lap race, but I've been surprised before.
Yeah, I'm sure Weishart won't mind giving the 54 just a little bump saying, hey, move it or lose it.
Looking away laps here early. And the drivers that came down to pit lane previously, Dustin Carroll and Joshua Franks, they're back out on the racetrack, still on the lead lap, but down a little ways. Joshua Franks actually has the leaders coming up behind him, so we might see some lap traffic here shortly. The 33 slipped, and here comes the 46 of Dominic DeLeo, and behind him, 3 wide into turn 1. That's the one car on the bottom. That's not going to work very well.
That was Greg Mitchell again sent in the middle. Richard Thomas on the bottom. Jordan Martin on the outside. They're still trying to get settled out here. Senesek now to the inside of Mitchell, but Thomas was 9 points out heading into tonight, so he's got to make those aggressive moves if he wants to move up into the championship 4.
There goes to the inside now of the 2. Mitchell is going the wrong direction. Started this race in 8th. He has gone backwards in 16 laps, back 6 spots. And Seidenfeld and smelling blood in the water here with these 2 battling ahead.
Yeah, Mitchell stuck on the outside now. Still trying to put up a fight with Senesek, but you want to run that bottom. And he's getting way too high now. He's going to try and get settled in here. He's not even going to have to run off the corner.
Forrest Smith gave a shot to the 45 in the middle of 1 and 2, and that opens the door for Davey Hendricks on the bottom.
Yeah, Hendricks has his work cut out for him tonight.
Whoa.
Not getting a good qualifying run. He only had +3 to the cutoff line, so he's going to have to move up a good bit if he wants to move on to the championship 4. As we see a replay here, there's Forrest Smith in the 84.
Yeah, he was just chasing the car on the brakes, real sliding into turn 1 the last time around. Again on the outside, really loose. Still sideways, leaving tire tracks in 1 and 2, and Davey Hendricks smells that blood in the water and going for a bite.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were going to make contact there. It looked very close with how high the 94 was getting and how loose the 84 was in the corner.
Give Hendricks a spot up to 16th place. And Hendricks is one of our playoff competitors, and if this is how the night's going to go, it's going to be a struggle for him. Only up to 16th, 20 laps in. Up forward a little bit towards 4th place. Colin Fambro no longer has Weishart on the rear bumper, but it's Scioli, last week's winner, Dominic DeLeo. And then the 33 of Weishart putting pressure on.
Yeah, Weishart got a little too hot over there in 3 and 4 and kind of lost the car. And now he's just settled back in 7th. Just watching the action unfold in front of him. That's actually one of the drivers for Bell Weishart Esports. Scioli looking to the inside of Fambro for the 4th spot.
Love the colors on both of these cars. That GoPro car with the chrome number and the Rick's Hot Sauce car of Scioli with all the pink and the teal on it. Scioli is going to beat the 54 out of turn 4. Fambro still has overlap, but now gets cleared into turn 1. Not quite, though. He hangs on. That was a good run, but there it is. Now the 54 has DeLeo to fight with.
Dom DeLeo doesn't run the Lodgebox series too much, but whenever he does, oh, close there. Oh, and there's the lap car of Dustin Carroll getting out of the way, but whenever he runs the Lodgebox series, it's just to run with Greg Mitchell, try to get him accustomed to the car and try and help him out as much as he can.
A little damage to the rear of the 54. That rear bumper cover is kind of knocked in on Fambro's car, so he's already had somebody bouncing off the rear bumper. Weishart opened the door, wasn't able to completely get through it, though.
It might have been the 33 of Weishart, although I don't see any damage on the front of that 33, but he was the closest one to that 54.
Speaking of closest ones, Alan Elwood is the closest to the lead. He's only 2/10 back from Cameron Hearn and was a 10th quicker last time by. Entering a little higher up the racetrack. We'll see if he can carve it down to the bottom on exit, but Hearn gets a great exit that time through onto the backstretch.
Well, the longer he sits behind Hearn, the closer the 28 of Beckner will get, and they're approaching the lap car of Josh Franks, but here's the drone cam with the cool shot, the battle for the lead.
Into turn 1. Elwood right behind the 67. This is one of the closest battles on the racetrack at the moment. And Elwood's throwing the car deeper into the corner, entering high, knowing he's got the room to dive on the brakes, and then exiting low and trying to straighten up that exit. It's working out for him. He just needs to get a little bit more overlap on the 67 to get a pass done.
Right in car here with the 49 of Elwood's got a pretty decent margin with the cutoff line, entered plus 21. So really, if he just continues to do what he'll do, he might make it into Michigan on points.
Well, you can't hear this on your end, Hunter, but The 49 has a very odd sound when he's accelerating. Sounds like the engine's skipping. But obviously that's not the case. Something's amiss there with the sounds in this car, but a little awkward sounding up on corner exit. That's just the Elwood traction control, I bet.
Yeah, this is the one series that Alan Elwood will run, and he ran a couple of cautions out on the racetrack. Looks like that is Forrest Smith in 84 that might have gone around.
Let's have a look here. It was back in this direction. I'm not sure if it was exactly the 84, but might have been a car near him. No, indeed it was the 84. Just went around for a loop, got into turn 3 a little on the hot side.
Just lost it over there in the entry of 3, gave the wall a little bit of a tap, and round she went.
Yeah, it was just in really hot. Didn't get it slowed down, was offline. You know, if you enter a little lower when you're charging in that hot, you might be able to hang on to it, but it was too high up the racetrack. Leaders on pit lane, or at least some of them. Hearn is on pit lane, so is Scioli, so is the 33 of David Weishart. But most drivers stay out. This is an interesting call, not one I would have made if I was a 67, but hence they're here.
Fall is going to be an issue for some of these guys because they're not in their fuel window, although they feel like more yellows are going to come out and they can just save fuel and save tires that way. But the 67 is going to come out of pit road, and then there's the 7 of Scioli.
33 Weishart will also follow out of pit lane. They're going to drop from at least Hearn, who was leading, all the way back to 13th place. He might gain a few spots back here. Nope, those are all cars that were behind him already. So Hearn will cycle back into 13th place. Alan Elwood takes over the lead. Travis Beckner, Dominic DeLeo, Colin Fambro, and Garrett Grant are your new top 5.
Under caution here for the second time, lap 33 of 190 for the Lodgebox Series, presented by Elite Entertainment. We would like to thank Elite Entertainment for their support of the Elite Entertainment Cup Series and from all of us here at Area. Be sure to check out Elite Entertainment on Facebook and book them to DJ your next event.
Look at our stats so far. 158 laps to go. 2 cautions. Total of 6 laps so far. 1 leader and 1 lead change. Going to be 2 leaders this time by. There it is. Elwood to the top.
Yep, and Travis Beckner is going to be he's probably going to be on the outside. Elwood's going to restart on the inside over there.
We have 2 cars, 1 lap down. Both of them are the drivers that were involved in the early collision in turn 4. Joshua Franks and Dustin Carroll. Everyone else, Edward Morris Sr. on forward, is on the lead lap, at least for the time being. And the top 11 cars have not hit pit lane yet, which I wouldn't consider surprising this early in the race, Hunter. I think they'll pit later.
I don't consider it surprising to see Grant and Thomas stay out along with Senesac and Davey Hendricks. Those are really the 4 guys that we're going to have to keep an eye on who could be the 4 heading out of the playoffs after Michigan. It all depends on how they do tonight, though, and all those guys have yet to pit. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of their races go as the pace car is going to pull into pit road. We'll get this show back on the road.
Yeah, if we get another 10 or 15 laps under green, the chance for a yellow drops significantly. All right, here we go. Green flag, lap 36, back underway here from the paperclip. Good restart by Elwood and Beckner. He's clear of the second row.
Then it's back to DeLeo on the bottom. Going to take away third from Fambro. Not quite. Fambro's still there with the corner. Going to let him slide in. One car really sending it deep in the back. That was Shane Therian in the purple 38.
He's still going for it in the 38 car, this time to the inside of the 77 of Jordan Martin. These restarts are frantic moments. 3 spots right ahead of you. If you just send it a little deeper, you break a little later. It's tempting, but it's risky as well.
And we'll see Hearn on the outside of Therian. He's got the newer tires on, so try and use some of those up to get around Therian on the outside. For the most part, it seems like it's working. Don't want to use it up too much.
board with David Weishart as he watches the battles go on ahead of him and to his outside. Davey Hendricks in the 94. Weishart is on fresh tires in that 33. I'm curious to see how he will do. Cameron Hearn is up 5 spots from the restart, so maybe the tires are worth something even this early.
Hearn trying to take all the advantage that he can out of it. Going to look to the inside of Roderick now for the 7th spot.
Slow but steady. I like the progress as the caution flies this time again for the number 9 to Joshua Franks. It has been a troublesome night for the 9 so far.
We'll take a look and see how he lost it here. Oh, it just hung left out of the corner.
Yep, again, this is kind of what I expected to see more of tonight with the extra power from Tuesday night's race. Just goosed it too much too late and spun it around and bounced off the fence. That'll be our 3rd caution on the night, 2nd from the number 9. And any takers this time? I don't think we'll see any. This should be a pretty quick yellow flag sequence. Notice
pit road was closed, by the way.
Yeah,
so.
next time by, well, I still think we'll see most of the field stay out. Notice that all the playoff competitors are in the top 15, and notice, well, they were. Someone just came down pit lane. That was Senesac that just came down pit road. Notice also the big gap between Elwood and Thomas. That's what Elwood needs, is to put some non-playoff competitors between him and the others and walk out of here with a big points lead.
Yeah, we'll have to see here, as it looks like a good bit of the drivers are going to head down pit road. These two, Simon Fine and Senesac, they already went on pit road when it was closed, so they'll have to restart at the tail end. I believe so. Some guys staying out, though.
Yeah, I think most folks did that time through, so they'll stay out. Again, I didn't expect this close after restart. I wasn't expecting a bunch of them to come down. We are seeing that, at least on that previous run, green flag runs are possible and likely tonight, so I think at some point, probably around lap 100, I would be thinking about hitting pit lane. We'll probably have enough cautions to be able to have your choice of when, but you don't want to get too greedy and wait a little too long and get yourself in a pickle where we go green to the end, and then you have to make a green flag pit stop at Martinsville. That is not advised, Hunter.
No, I don't think it's recommended by anyone to have a green flag pit stop under any of these short tracks, whether it's Bristol, Martinsville, Dover, some tracks like Darlington where it's tough to get on the pit road. But at a short track, you definitely don't want to make a green flag pit stop because sometimes that might be the nail in the coffin to your race.
Working lap 44 here from the area Lodgebox Series. Playoff round 3 of 5. Next week, we head to Michigan Speedway, the fast 2-mile racetrack, and that's always a fun one in a car like this. You just get to send it off into the corner at pretty much 200 miles an hour. I look forward to tracks like this with cars like this. The Cup Series race, I'm sure, will be interesting on Monday, as well as the Truck Series race on Tuesday. And then we finish off the season the following week at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, another intermediate track to round out the season. That's really been where the drama has been on the Cup Series side with the new next-gen car. So really excited to finish things out there and do a little roll of the dice at our season finale in Nevada.
Yeah, the next-gen car is really solid on these mile and a halves and super speedways, and it'll be interesting to see them go around Michigan and how that race fares out. But that's next week. We'll continue to watch tonight's race of the Lodgebox Series here, playoff race number 3. Is Elwood going to restart on the bottom, Beckner on the outside. See the pace car dive in and where the 49 will launch.
Coming to the restart zone this time. The green and white 49 is the control car, and good launch out of turn 4. Got a great launch, but the 28 again clears that second row. Behind him, Garrett Grant chucked it into turn 1, tried to get some overlap on the 54. Didn't do it in turn 1. We'll see if he can in turn 3.
Yep, each spot is a point, and every point matters for that number 5. But right behind him, Cameron Hearn is sending it underneath Richard Thomas.
Hearn is still climbing forward. He's very, very fast tonight, tires or not. And up into 6th place after restarting 13th only a couple of laps ago. Oh, look at the 33 of Weishart. Wow, a deep dive on the 77, and Martin had to give it to him.
That 67 car is what Weishart is chasing after, though, as he's passing Garrett Grant, teammate of Weishart, for the 5th spot.
The 1 and the 5 got a little dicey on entry to turn 3. Looks like Martin kind of got run up the racetrack a little bit. Has to let A.J. Roderick slot in line. In the background, here's Greg Mitchell trying to get by Shane Therian. And for 4th place, Hearn is past Fambro.
Hearn just continuing his climb and really getting close there to DeLeo, but his teammate Beckner keeping his toes on Alan Elwood, trying to force him into a mistake, but it's hard to force Elwood to do something like that.
Little bobble for Beckner into turn 3. Dominic DeLeo now has Cameron Hearn right behind him. I think the 28 scraped the wall out of turn 4, and look at the 33. Big move in the background as Hearn goes by for 3rd. Weishart looks to the inside of Thomas in turn 1.
Trying to get that number 1, not making it easy for the 33. Going to actually shut the door on him.
There's Martin trying to grab a spot back from the 56 of A.J. Roderick. Right now, break him into turn 1. If you got the inside lane here, you can complete the pass. It's just a matter of how much you want to use up the guy to your outside. And that determines how fast you can get the job done. You can stay totally clean. It might take you 2 or 3 laps, or you can run him up the hill into the marbles and be done fast. But that might come back to haunt you later in the night, as Weishart now has overlap on Thomas into turn 1. And he will get the job done, as here comes the 7 of Scioli to follow through.
A couple playoff drivers going door to door for that 8th spot. Right behind them, though, battle for 10th and up with playoff driver Bryce Senesac watching. And another one behind him, Greg Mitchell, underneath the 94 of Davey Hendricks, going to look for that 13th spot.
Yeah, Mitchell went backwards early, so it's good to see him moving back forward, although at a slower pace than how quickly he went back at the start. And Martin and Roderick, that was real close, and that time he uses up the 56, puts him in the marbles as there's trouble behind him. And Edward Morris Sr., I think, whoa.
Got a blinker.
I'll say. Horace Smith was showing at negative 65,000 miles an hour for a second. That's fast.
That's fast in the wrong direction.
I'll say. If he could do 65,000 miles an hour in the right direction, he'd be winning this race and it'd be over already.
Yeah, the race would already be over. It'd just be a battle for second.
Call in Houston for space control instead of race control. Here's Hearn for 2nd, right on the back of Travis Beckner. I'm curious to see how long it'll take him to get by the 28 Ford. Not long.
It didn't take that long. Beckner's like, all right, teammate, you go around me. I know you're faster than me with the newer tires you got on.
Oh, spin, turn 2.
Spin in the back.
Garrett Grant.
Oh, Bryce Senesac getting in it.
He
Caution already came out, though. I'm not sure if it was for that incident or something else, but we did see him sideways as the caution flew.
I think that was it. Let's see if there's anything else it could have been. I think that was it. Go back and have a look at what happened to the 5 of Garrett Grant. If it was just driving in a little bit deep into turn 1, it appears to be. And that was about as sideways as I thought you were going to get it. The 09 did a great job. There's a little bit of contact there, but not as much as maybe we had thought.
Yeah, just a little smack on the side there for the 09.
Behind him, I don't think there was anything else to worry about, just those 2 battling, as a lot of folks are on pit lane now. Cameron Hearn stays out, but Elwood, Beckner, Scioli, and more, they will come to pit lane, and I think that will make everybody on the racetrack has come at least one time, so that will clear up the pit road strategy, I would think, provided you can make it to the end from here for those that already pitted.
Yeah, and the Elwood Design Group with their Ohio State jerseys getting that 49 car out P1 coming out of pit road. Beckner right behind. Then it's DeLeo and Colin Fambro, and then Richard Thomas coming out 5th.
Working lap number 60 here shortly. Again, you are watching the Area Lodgebox Series playoffs here from Martinsville Speedway, the half-mile short track in Ridgeway, Virginia. Next week, we go racing at Michigan. It'll be Las Vegas for the season finale. The next race up here on the area, on twitch.tv/area iRacing, will be Monday night's Elite Entertainment Cup Series from Michigan.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the way last week ended and Nick Johnston being in a deep playoff hole. It's going to be interesting to see how he recovers from that, if he will recover. He's literally in a must-win situation. If he does not win, he will not be going for the championship, and that's something we'll have to keep an eye on for Monday night as we continue to pace under yellow here. Lights are still on the pace car, so we'll go at least one more time around. Cameron Hearn, David Weishart, Scioli Senesac, Greg Mitchell, and Jacob Hudson. All 6 stayed out. Everyone else behind Alan Elwood came in and pitted, took tires. Now we'll see how this restart shapes, because we saw the 67 fly to the front with new tires. Now we'll see what the 49 and the 28 will do on newer tires.
Yeah, I thought the 67 pit a little bit early in the night, so I'm kind of more on par with the strategy of those that just came in, including Alan Elwood. We'll see which one prevails. I'm not sure that anybody can really predict how many more cautions we're going to see. I can tell you that statistically tonight we've had less than the last couple of nights together. We've had 4 cautions for 17 of our 61 laps. I think last night, or on Tuesday night, we averaged, about 40% yellow flag laps, and right now we're just shy of 30%. So I think we'll continue to see that number fall as well. It seems like tonight the challenges are a little bit less than the last few. So cars are double up, re-racked, restacked, and going racing again here, Hunter. 67 on the bottom.
Yeah, and one thing I did predict is that Ryan Hartz would regret not racing. He just put in the chat, I should have ran this. I tried telling you that you should have ran it, because he won at Bristol, a half-mile concrete oval. But we'll see him go again Monday night as the green flag flies once more from the paper trail.
Wow, big moment in turn 1. The 2 car gets swarmed on all sides. The 49 of Elwood makes positions. The 22 of Hudson in the wall. He scrambles down the backstretch. Everybody going for spots. The 49 car, big dive into turn 3. The 28 follows him through, and Weishart almost went around off the nose of Elwood. Big frantic restart here.
Yeah, a lot going on there. Hudson just nowhere to go in turn 1 and just went up near the wall and fortunately got out of everyone's way, and a caution did not come out for that.
Not exactly what Cameron Hearn wanted to see with how quick Elwood got through the field. But I'm not convinced we're going to go green for too long here if these guys keep racing like this. So much aggression on the restart. Mitchell under fire from A.J. Roderick. Right behind him is Jordan Martin, who got kind of the short end of the stick a couple of times so far tonight.
Trying to get a good exit off. Door-to-door with Mitchell, though.
There's some more door-to-door just up ahead of them. The 28 of Beckner to the inside of Weishart in the 33. Flames shooting out the tailpipes here as Elwood's up to 3rd place.
Beckner trying to take advantage of all that he can with that number 28. Don't want to let the 49 go away just yet. Weishart losing that spot to Beckner. Going to lose another one possibly to DeLeo, and Elwood trying to take one away from Scioli just up the road.
Whoa, big slide for the 46. He caught it before he ran into the side of the 33, but maybe a scare for a moment. As you mentioned, Scioli, as the 09 of Senesac way up the road and into the marbles in turn 3.
Gonna want to get that car dialed down, make sure to not spin it out, and he did just that. But the 09 gonna have some ground to make up.
Bryce Senesac been a little up and down tonight. Narrowly avoided a much bigger incident at the previous caution. As Scioli now fights off Elwood, but for how long?
Much longer. There goes the 49 right on by. Beckner going to try and do the same, and he did just that.
Yeah, this is with the great restart that Elwood had. He is making very quick work of those that pitted earlier. Here's DeLeo in the 46 to the inside of David Weishart in the red butt kicker number 33, and DeLeo should be able to complete this here, but Weishart's been fighting very, very strongly on the top side tonight.
Got for Richard Thomas in case anything happens to these front two. He's just watching, giving some momentum to the 46, almost a shove. You're right on board with it.
33 disappears out the right side, so pass complete for DeLeo. And now Thomas will add his name to the list. Or Smith around on the front straightaway.
Going to bring out the caution once more here at Martinsville. Take a look at a replay and just lost it coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, seen this a couple times already. Horace Smith right here gets right to the curb, bounces. He actually hooks the curb with the left front tire, and that's really the critical difference there. Another look at it. If we go back a little bit farther, watch the left front. And this is, I'm surprised we didn't see more of this all week, but he gets really good rotation to the middle of the corner right here. The left front tire gets up on the curb, and that's all it takes to destabilize the car and send it around. That curb is gnarly. It's supposed to keep you off the inside grass, and it certainly does a good job of that. Forrest Smith spins out.
And in the sim, it's grass, but real life, they paved over that. It's all pavement. So I'm not sure when this track will be rescanned, although we did at the part where it's pavement, but not sure when it will be repaved or not, but I think rescanned. Once it gets rescanned, I think we'll see more cars try and run over that curb, but we might see more of what Forrest Smith just did a moment ago.
Yeah, it's not so much about the material that's on the other side of the curb. It's just the elevation that the tire gets. You kind of twist the chassis of the car when you put it up on top of the curbing there. You compress the right rear tire, you lift up the left rear, and when all that happens, you kind of just destabilize the very delicate grip balance that you have, and it's easy to send the car around. Also, if you bounce off the curb and you kind of chatter the rear tires, that can lead to you spinning out on throttle as well. So even if you don't spin immediately when you hit the curb on exit, you throttle back up, you can go around. So it's definitely something you want to avoid here, and typically you're pushing the corner hard enough where it's difficult to get down to it, but if you're trying to set up a pass on somebody and turn in really late and to get that straight drive off, that's where you can find yourself up on top of that curb and in trouble. Another thing that road racers, I talk about the road racer and short track crossover. If you do a lot of road racing, you're used to how cars handle up on curbs, maybe not in a rear-wheel drive, in a straight rear axle car like this, but that's something, dynamically that you're very familiar with. Not so much on the oval racing side. You're familiar with the concept of an apron, and that is kind of the same thing when it comes down to what it does to the car.
Seen Travis Beckner do that yet, although he is a pretty stout road course racer. Have yet to see him clip that curb. He's run a pretty much flawless race so far. He's been inside the top 5 for most of the night. Teammate 2, Cameron Hearn, and we're going to have a restart here in the next lap or two, and it's going to be Elite Entertainment on the bottom of the first 2 rows, so we'll see what he can do with fresher tires than the leader, Cameron Hearn.
Drivers out of the race at this stage include Dustin Carroll in the number 4, Chris Seidenfeiden in the number 45. Got some rear end damage and is called it quits about 30 laps ago, and Joshua Franks is also out. So 3 drivers out, and every one of the other 18 competitors is on the lead lap and ready to try to win. Cameron Hearn back to the front, and everyone has made their pit stop and theoretically can go to the end on fuel from here. We might see him come down one more time if we go green for a little while and get another caution, but that's up to the drivers to determine trade-off track position for Mr. Fieldgoods, as Darrell Waltrip would say.
These guys have 3 sets, and they've all used 1 set, so they got 2 in the bank in case we get a late race caution.
Green flag back in the air for Cameron Hearn. Immediately clears Elwood. Beckner to the inside. Elwood, though, strong run on the outside through 1 and 2.
Gonna try and get that runoff with the newer tires compared to Hearn. He's got the advantage in the 3.
Yeah, he might do it here through 3 and 4 if he can just roll the center. And he will do that. He'll stay dead even with the 67, but nose ahead down into turn 1.
Oh, Hearn, big bobble there. Going to get near the door of Elwood as they come off the corner. Elwood still with the advantage, but Hearn not going down without a fight. Going to try and get Elwood to use some more of his tires.
Side by side off of turn 4. Elwood is so close to being clear. He was for just a moment, but Hearn throws it down the inside again. Elwood's got to finish this off pretty quick because you can't run up there for very long before you're going to start to lose the advantage. Clear again, but only for a moment.
He's going to clear him right here, I believe. If Hearn's going to send it down a little more, get a little loose there on corner exit. Still can't clear the 67, and now he's going to. He's got the... Oh, he slid up a little bit.
Here comes
Hearn still giving him a run.
Yeah, 67, a great run out of turn 2 to the bottom. Once more, Travis Beckner just spectating this at this point. So close is the 49. He threw it in there too deep. Yeah, he threw it in there too deep though. Elwood, he's trying to get clear in corner entry, but it's cost him in the middle. So close, hanging on by a thread. The mosquito in the ear of the 49 is that 67 Ford right now.
He cleared him that time, but Man, you knew what the 67 had to do.
Oh, spin, crashed, front straightaway, 22. Jacob Hudson hard in the fence. That was a big impact down there. Sorry, Hunter.
Take a look at our replay, and I was just, yeah, I was gonna say, we'll take a look at a replay here. Just, kind of similar to what we saw with Josh Franks. Just gassed it a little too soon coming out of turn 4 and just spun that car into the inside wall.
Oh, man, that's a big hit down there, too. That car will likely have some significant damage, but brings out another caution here tonight. And so far, on a race recap here for the Area Lodgebox Series, we've had 6 yellows for a total of 24 of our 83 laps. And Cameron Hearn down on pit lane. He knows what's up. He saw the advantage those tires are giving the 49, and he's willing to come on down again. I actually like this call at this point, Hunter. You've seen the advantage. It's worth something. So if you could be the last guy on pit lane, have the freshest tires, you'll be in a great spot. Now, it's a risk for track position purposes, obviously, but it didn't hold back the 49.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, no surprise that he came down pit road, because not only of that, but he probably used up whatever he had left of his tires compared to what Elwood had. Trying to get him to use some of his newer tire, and going to set up his teammate Travis Beckner nicely here. If he can continue getting good launches, assuming he's going to restart on the outside, going to have a good restart for Beckner, his teammate. And that's the one downside about pitting, though. We only saw, I believe, one other car came down pit road. He's going to restart at least down in 15th, so he's going to have a lot of ground to make up. But we've seen him do it once. He could do it again.
Sure can, and with a restart like Elwood got, kind of going middle of everybody, that could be very entertaining to watch Cameron Hearn drive through the field. There's Forrest Smith getting himself caught back up. And 18 drivers on the lead lap. The 22 is back on track with a little bit of damage repair having been done to this car. He's been on pit lane 6 times tonight, which is more than anybody else. But it's clearly not to his liking tonight.
No, he was in a practice session earlier trying to get better at the Lodgebox Series and getting a better feel for the car, and just hasn't quite been the race that Hudson was looking for.
So working lap number 86 of 190, pretty quickly approaching the halfway point of this race. And as we've seen the last couple of nights, once you get to halfway, the green flag racing picks up, and you're going to start ticking off laps. So again, I like this call by the 67. He's just got to keep his nose clean on these restarts especially. Make sure that he doesn't find himself in a bad spot. Elwood, though.
I would say you could just see how bright those lights are on the pace car. I mean, look at how bright they are compared to everywhere else.
Yeah, this is one of the tracks that got kind of a 50% redo by iRacing. It didn't really get the attention it deserves. So, yes, there is night lighting, but the grandstands are in full darkness, which obviously is not quite how it is. The lights don't cast any light here, so that's probably why the pace car lights look so bright, is because the lights aren't casting any light on the fans in the grandstands, at least not from behind. So this is a track that was originally scanned by iRacing all the way back in 2006. And at one point, I think they fixed it now, but there were still NASCAR Busch Series race logos from 2006. And those logos outlasted the time when the Xfinity Series in real life didn't come here. So this track is old in iRacing years. Time to go restarting, though. Lap 88 of 190. Green flag.
Clear Scioli. He will. So Beckner's going to drop down in line. Richard Thomas trying to clear DeLeo. He will. A little further back. Mitchell and Weishart door to door. And there's Hearn with the fresh tires all over the bumper of the 2.
They made up 2 spots already in a lap. And watching him carve his way through the field, chooses the outside this time. Look at the ground he makes up on the 33. Pushing it, though. Big bobble in turn 1, as you saw, Hunter.
Yeah, he had to slow down way faster than he wanted to. Otherwise, he was going to hit the bumper of Weishart.
94, Davey Hendricks just ahead. He's a playoff competitor. We haven't talked about him a lot tonight, even though he's running inside the top 10. A little bit of bump and a bang in the backdrop here. Drivers getting aggressive. Here's a 67 now on the 33. This is for 11th.
Earnhardt there coming out turn 4 last time by. Might have scraped the wall a little bit, but he didn't do that time. Underneath the 33. Going to try and get underneath the 94. Might give him a little tap here as he goes to the inside down the back.
Look at the drive off that he gets. It's just unbelievable how much of a difference those tires make, even after not that much green flag running. It's just the heat cycles, the restarts, really put a strain on the tires from a temperature perspective. We came into the night with 75-degree track temps, down to 73 degrees and holding, with the rubber being laid on the racetrack at this stage. But it is a little cooler than it was to kick off the night. And up
the rest
front
of the field, about single file. Elwood still leading the way. Beckner and Scioli with a little breakaway from fourth place, Richard Thomas.
Elwood, Beckner, Scioli, Thomas, Fambro are your top five, and Cameron Hearn again making a move here to the inside of Therian in the Flat Out Racing Network 38 Supra.
Yep. Looking for the 9th spot, and we'll get it off turn 4. No contest there. Now the next spot going to be A.J. Roderick in 8th. That Cameron Hearn's going to try and, boy, you can just see, give him a little tap there.
Use code Elwood to save 10%. Read the back of the 56 car. That's a well-placed advertisement, I'd say.
One that Hearn saw and was like, yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Not really, and then just went right around him.
Not much I can do about it right now. I got to win this race first. 5 of Garrett Grant, remember the issue that he had in turn number 2. He's still trying to rebound from that, stuck in 15th right now, behind Greg Mitchell.
Yeah, not the spot he wants to be in. There's still another half of racing left to go, and anything can happen in between now and the finish, but not looking good so far for the 5.
So keep an eye on Cameron Hearn's recovery, up 7 spots after that pit stop. I like the position he's in now, but if we get another caution flag, I would think Elwood would be motivated to come down pit lane again, and that would kind of reset this whole pit later than the other cycle.
We'll see what the pit cycle does there, as the turn is up to 7th. Fambro just took over 5th from DeLeo, who's about to be under attack from the 67 of Hearn.
Look at how much more turn those tires give you for the 67. He just arced it left and throttled down on exit, and will make that pass look fairly easy. Leo tries to hang on, but can't do much about it. And Jordan Martin might have an opportunity to climb up another spot here. Not a playoff competitor in this series. Therian, however, is. And it's not exactly been a stellar night for the 38. He's struggled a little bit in comparison to some of the other drivers he's running with in the standings.
He didn't have a good round 1, but winning the regular season championship had all those bonus points with it. And that's kind of been his cushion, but really hasn't had that playoff race just yet. And it doesn't look like he's having it so far tonight, but another half of the race that we can hope for the best for the number 38 as we've crossed halfway into tonight's race. We'll do our top 10 rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor Swift Lifestyles for clean supplements to help improve your focus in gaming. Use discount code AREA iRacing to save 15% off your entire order. We would like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles for their continuous support of Area iRacing. As we focus on the race leader, Alan Elwood, been one of the drivers to beat tonight other than the 67 of Hearn. He currently finds himself in the lead right now, but he's got the 28 of Beckner all over his bumper. Travis Beckner, the highest of those not in the playoffs. He's just running for wins, and he's putting himself in the position to possibly take a win tonight. And another driver behind looking to get another win and make it 3 for 3 in the playoffs is that number 7 of James Scioli, plus 17 to the cutoff line heading into tonight after winning at Homestead and the Charlotte Roval. So far, so good for the number 7 South Beach Heat, number 7. All right, and now we'll go over to 4th place, Cameron Hearn, the fastest car on the track with the freshest tires. He's worked his way up, I believe, what'd you say? Will this be 11 spots now for Hearn?
Looks like 9 spots. Or actually, no, you're right, 11 spots, 15th to 4th.
Yep. Fastest car on the track, trying to catch up to that top 3, but he's made quick work of the rest of the field, and he just got around the 1 of Richard Thomas. Thomas entered tonight's race, -9 to the cutoff, running inside the top 5, doing what he needs to do to set himself up for a potentially better race at Michigan next week, but still have about 80 or so laps to go in tonight's race. So we'll see where that one ends up when the checkered flag flies. And right behind him, got Colin Fambro right now in P6. Didn't get in to the next round, just barely missing it last week, but having a solid showing in the number 54, running inside the top 10, and as well as the 46 of Dom DeLeo. These two have been near each other for the last 30 laps or so in this race. DeLeo not running in the Lodgebox series too much, but getting a good feel for the car, running in 7th. And in the 77 car, Jordan Martin right behind him. He's also had an interesting race as he gets near the bumper of DeLeo, toughed him a little bit. Running into 8th spot, solid showing for that new 77 Jordan car. It's one way to identify yourself easily, and another one to identify easily, that 33 of David Weishart in the butt kicker number 33. Running back in 9th, really has not recovered since the early pit stops with him and Cameron Hearn when they were on that same cycle. Hearn has driven through the field. Weishart kind of been stuck around that 9th, 10th position. Currently finds himself 9th on the track. And 10th is the 38 of Shane Therian. Just talked about it. He won the regular season championship, got those bonus points for the playoffs, but has not had a solid playoff round just yet. Didn't have a good one in round 1, but the points carried him into round 2 and kind of stuck in 10th and needs to get a better showing if he wants to move on in the championship 4 at Vegas. And that was your top 10 rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles.
A lot of bumping and banging here for position. The 77 and 33 fighting very hard for position, trying to mix things up inside the top 10. And Weishart will knock the 77 out of the way and move through. Shane Therian with that door open will choose to try to sneak in as well before the door shuts. But it looks like it already has. Greg Mitchell and Davey Hendricks, they've been having a scrap the last couple of laps as well. This is back for 13th place. And again, Hendricks just trying to get through the night. This is not going to be a good one for the 94. His focus, I think, is already on next week at Michigan, just clinging on to his playoff hopes at this stage.
Yeah, he entered tonight +3 to the cutoff, and it's safe to say that it's not working out too good for him. I mean, he started deep in 19th, worked his way up to currently 13th on the track, but not a strong showing that he needed to see, neither for the 5 of Garrett Grant as well. He's back over there in 15th. The way it's looking, he might put himself in a must-win situation heading into Michigan, but there's still a lot of race left and anything can happen like we saw Monday night and Tuesday night. So we'll see where the 5 car will be after the race is over.
Oh, spin right behind him. Forrest Smith brings out a caution right in front of a couple other competitors and the leaders. And Forrest Smith, that's the 2nd or 3rd time he's gone around tonight. I think probably a similar scenario here. Here's a look at it. It was chasing the 5 and just locked it up.
Yeah, fortunate for Garrett Grant, he didn't get collected in that, as just sending it in a little too much and barely getting into the bumper of the 5 there, just spinning and then bringing that car back on the pit road before Hudson and Franks arrived on the scene.
He chased
there he
it.
is, losing control, spinning it, and then he sees the cars coming. Oh, let me get out of the way. And he got out of the way.
Yeah, he was chasing it for a while. It just wasn't going to get saved. So this brings an interesting decision, and everyone is going to come down pit lane. I think this is the right call here. We've seen this race go a lot greener than the last couple of nights. This might be your last realistic opportunity to come down without costing yourself positions. Cameron Hearn is going to get back on the same strategy. That was a great call for him, I think. I don't know if he probably would have fallen backwards further than 3rd had he stayed out with those older tires. So he came on pit lane, went from 15th up to 3rd, now pits from 3rd, and he'll probably come out of the box in 3rd or 4th, it looks like. So that didn't go very good for him. The 33 of Weishart, interesting strategy. He took 2 tires in that 33.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he came out 3rd there, that 33 car. I thought he came out 2nd. Looks like he came out 3rd. But yeah, Hearn putting on his last set of Goodyear Eagles, so he's got no fresh ones left. Everyone else, though, has at least 1 set, and for Weishart, 7.5.
How about the parity in manufacturers tonight? A lot of Fords, a lot of Chevys, a lot of Toyotas mixed up there. A couple more Toyotas. I think we just have a higher volume of them in the series, but good mix there. 2 Toyotas leading, then a Ford and a Chevy, and another 4 rounding out the rest of the top 5. Throw a Chevy in there for 6. So 2 Chevys, Yeah, two Chevys, 2 Fords, 2 Toyotas in the top 6. That's about as equal as it gets across the different teams and manufacturers.
Along though, Elwood takes the lead, but Hudson is down pit road. So it's Toyota, Ford, Chevy, top 5, and Toyota. So no, 2 Fords, 2 Toyotas, 2 Chevys in the top 6, just in different orders now.
Got to mix them up a little bit. So Elwood will retake the lead here. Travis Beckner is in good position. And think back to Beckner and Weishart. They were eliminated from the playoffs. They are no longer contending for a championship, but here they are sitting 2nd and 3rd, Hunter. This is the frustration that you have if you're not able to just let go and just compete for race wins. If you've got regrets about how your season went, this is the time to have them, because you're in position here with, 70 laps to go or so, and you have a shot to win this race, and that would have solved all problems, but the hurt came last week, and you can't do anything about it now.
Elwood is currently going to restart as the leader, but that car on the outside, Travis Beckner, he is teammates with Cameron Hearn, but like you mentioned, he's not in the playoffs, so he's just going at it for wins. He's going to try and make it difficult for Elwood to win the race if this does go caution-free to the finish. Could see Beckner make a little move on the bumper of the 49 of Elwood if it comes down to it, and it seems like it's going to head that way unless the 33 of the 67 get around as the pace car enters pit road. Elwood going to restart as the leader. Green flag back out at Martinsville.
Good launch for Beckner and Elwood. Hearn left a little bit in the dust there. 28 might be able to sneak in front of him, but regardless of the teammate scenario here, they're not going to be like teammates for there. A little door slamming out the exit of turn 2. Hearn and Beckner battling for second spot. Who's going to take the fight to Elwood?
It's going to be Hearn. Teammates getting together off turn 2. Now they're single file up. Back around the 7th position. Richard Thomas and Dom DeLeo nearly getting into the wall coming out too.
And look at the dive from Shane Therian, feeling opportunistic. A little lock up there on the left front tire. Big moment there, but he gathers it up. Dom DeLeo going backwards here. He needs to go forward. Not a playoff competitor, but trying to snag a win here tonight.
We got close there again coming out of 2. Here comes the 77 of Jordan Martin looking underneath the 46 for the 10th position.
He also locked it up into turn 3, dragging that left front Goodyear across the Martinsville race surface. And anytime you do that, you lose that grip. You can't steer with that tire, so you end up kind of driving straight instead of turning. That's a risky moment.
Still door to door for that 10th position. Davey Hendricks right behind, hoping something can happen to those two and he can just scoot on by, but he's got AJ Roderick closing in on his bumper in the 13th position.
Roderick trying the outside of the 56. And ahead of him, DeLeo and Martin. I'm sure he'd like for these two to kind of knock each other out of the way so he can take the fight to the playoff competitors. That's what he needed there. The 46 goes up the track.
Here comes Davey Hendricks. Going to get the spot from Dom DeLeo, move him up to 11th. He needs to have a solid showing if he wants to have a good chance at making the championship for him. Putting himself in a better position at Michigan. Don't want to put yourself in a hole. Seems like that's what the 94 has currently done tonight. It hasn't been too fast.
Oh, spin, crash ahead of him. Big moment for the one. He goes up on top of the 46 and rolls over. What the heck happened there?
Wow. Well, we're going to have to take a look at that and see how the one just...
Oh, my. It was the 54 of Fambro in the wall big time. The 46, and that car just tripped up and over like it was nothing.
I guess if we can have a flip at Pocono, we can have a flip at Martinsville, too. Insane how that happened.
No, this started right at the exit of turn 4. And then the 1 tags the 54. That comes back across the track, knocks into the 1. He goes spilling across the road. Gets drilled and goes up and over.
Such a hard hit coming back in front of the track. Into Thomas, who goes flipping, landing on top of Jordan Martin.
Yeah, big hit for the 54. Misses the safer barrier, comes back across the track, then knocks the 1 across the road, and then bam! And then right here, the left side tires will dig in and just whoops up and over the top. Just like that. I'm sure Dom DeLeo has a great perspective of this out the passenger side cockpit here. Wow.
to see. And then there's the one just coming back and landing on top of Jordan Martin. Boy,
what a
wild one there.
Yeah, that took out a bunch of cars. The 46, the 77, the 54, and the 1, all with damage that is very severe. Dom DeLeo is going to try to limp it around, but that car might not make it to the finish with about, 50 laps, 60 laps to go. Looking
He'll
quite
try to make it. Yeah, he's not a quitter, though. He will not quit. He will not retire. No DNFs for DeLeo. He will stay in no matter how long it takes to repair the damage on that car. He'll go back out there and try and log in some laps.
So here's a look at a race recap tonight. So far, we've had about 128 laps complete. We've got 62 laps left. We've had 8 cautions for a total of 36 laps this time around. 3 leaders, 5 lead changes. And having a look at those leaders, one of them has been the 49 of Alan Elwood. He has led 78 laps to Cameron Hearn's 50. So the 49 is currently in a position to lead the most laps, should he lead another 15 or so. Other leaders in this race, I think we have to look down to Beckner's led none, Weishart has led none, Scioli's led none. Really just the 49 and 67 had the vast majority of it in the field tonight.
Yeah, tough break there. These guys are having solid runs, and so was that number 1 of Richard Thomas. I mean, what a tough break for him. He entered -9 to the cutoff line, was doing what he needed to do, running inside the top 5. Just a unfortunate set of circumstances there with him just getting caught up in the crash with Colin Fambro, and that's not going to put him in a good situation heading into Michigan. And now he had your CNC Logging rollover of the race. We would like to thank CNC Logging for their support of the CNC Logging Truck Series this season in area. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, CNC Logging is your place to go for any of your logging needs. Got wood, big or small, summer or fall, will cut your log guaranteed. CNC Logging. And we'll go ahead and get this show back on the road here with Alan Elwood as the leader and Cameron Hearn on the outside in the CNC Logging 67, back green from the paperclip.
Good launch from the 49. Hearn was there, though. He's right on the quarter panel this time. He's going to tuck in and try to prioritize that exit off and go for the inside. Here comes Cameron Hearn. Big dive on the brakes into turn 3. Elwood covers beautifully, though. He won't let him get down there.
It's a dogfight in the back for 3rd. Beckner's got it. Scioli coming across the 33 for 4th. And here comes Therian looking down on the inside, trying to get 5th away from Weishart.
Yeah, this night didn't start well for the 38, but he has recovered very nicely. And in all this late race chaos, he has begun to cycle to the front to the point where he's one of our top 4 playoff competitors. If he could stay there, this would certainly be a good night for him. He was already having a good season. A good night like this, a top 5 would be a great way to end things out for him.
Yeah, it'll be good to get some momentum going on the right track and hopefully for a solid run in next week's race at Michigan.
Elwood leads over Cameron Hearn by less than 1/10 of a second into turn 1. Who's got the ability to outlast the other here as we approach 50 laps to go?
On the bumper, Hearn just throwing the car in. Beckner closing in, Scioli closing in, got top 4 close to being within a blanket right here. But, whoa. Hearn, let's just ride on the in-car within. See how deep he sends it in the corners.
Yeah, he's really braking a lot later than Elwood. Giving up some of that time on exit, though. And you have to trade something for something. You can't just carry speed in and carry speed out. You're sacrificing one of the two. But Hearn right now prioritizing that entry. But at some point, once you realize you can't make this pass this way, you kind of have to prioritize the other way and see if that'll get you somewhere.
But sending it in means you're going to have to hold on the brake a little longer. Going to wear those tires a little bit more as the 33 wearing his tires. The 2 tires they switched going in the wrong direction. DeLeo trying to get around him for the 9th spot, but Weishart still putting up a fight on the outside.
A little bit of a squeeze there from DeLeo on Weishart. It's amazed this 46 is running as well as it is. You said he wasn't going to give up. Good thing. He's back in the top 10 here with just over 50 to go.
Yeah, DeLeo is not a quitter. He'll fight until the end.
I will say, and not willing to give up this spot here to the 33. Weishart not willing to let that 46 get by.
trying.
Great racing here. Nice clean racing. A little bit of a shove up the racetrack, though. That time the 33 gets in the wall.
Leo nearly losing it there, coming out of 2. 33 Weishart going to get the run on the outside, and this will clear him ahead of DeLeo. DeLeo now going to settle back in line in 10. AJ Roderick in the 56, looking possibly to take that position away from DeLeo.
Can't do a bump and run if you don't have a bumper. That's a consideration. That's a radiator
Fortunately for
run.
Roderick, he does have the bumper.
Yeah, right. AJ's got one. The 46 doesn't. That's a radiator run. But up front, Cameron Hearn's dropped off of Elwood by a couple car lengths, and Travis Beckner, James Scioli are ready to pounce.
Just trying to conserve the tires here in case this does go green to the end. Don't want to use him up too soon on this short run. If that is the case, his teammate on the other hand, trying to get away from 4th place Scioli, who's right behind him.
And for Scioli, this is just going well for him, I'd say. He's up a third of the playoff competitors. He's won the 2 previous races. And just run a clean night. Hasn't really had any major dramas and got all the fenders on the car and doesn't have a scratch on it. That's a good thing to see at this stage of the race.
Currently running 4th, but if that 67 of Hearn is able to get around Elwood and go on to win the race, that'll lock Hearn into the championship 4, and then we're possibly looking at Scioli as the cutoff man, being the 4th driver in points. That is if the 67 does win. But although he is plus 17 to the cutoff line, it's going to be tough for anyone on the outside looking in to get around that 7 unless something happens to him tonight or in Michigan.
For 6th place, okay, here's Davey Hendricks finally showing tonight, but as you mentioned, this effort and being careful has paid off a little bit for Davey Hendricks. The challenge is he's not quick enough to be up in those top 4 playoff competitors. 6th is a good night for most of the season. It's not going to do the job here in the Area Lodgebox Series playoffs. You got to do better than 6th, even though this is a little bit better than we thought he'd be running at this stage of the race.
Yeah, he is the one guy who does not want to see Hearn win because then he gets bumped out of the cutoff. So he's running good right now, doing what he needs to do. But if that 67 wins,
there he goes! Spins off the 09.
around.
Oh boy, caution out.
Well, as soon as I say that, commentator's curse. It swear, happens all the time.
Yeah,
we'll
he
take a look at a replay here.
Locked up that left front tire in the 09 as Senesac saw the opportunity and just went for it, whether it was justified or not. But the 94 slid up the road. He kind of gave up that inside groove. The 09 put the car there, and by the time he got there, the hole was closing. So aggressive move, but we're getting down to it at the tail end of the race here, Hunter. You got to expect that if you leave the door open, someone's going to go for it.
Yeah, and Senesac's one of those guys who needs to go after those moves whenever he gets the chance. Entering tonight -3 to the cutoff line. He's running solid, but I'm not sure if he'll stay up there. See what the admins have to say if he's given an EOL for causing that, or they could deem it as a racing incident, as they've deemed some of these yellows. Oh, and we've got a good bit of people down pit road.
A lot of people on pit lane. Cameron Hearn, Alan Elwood, and pretty much everybody else. Actually, Hearn stayed on the racetrack, rather. So Hearn stays out. Senesac stays out. Weishart stays out. Jacob Hudson stays out. Elwood on back. They all came to pit lane. Again, I'm team pit at this stage, especially if you're in that top 3. Not that many people came to or stayed out on the racetrack, rather. So Elwood, Scioli was actually the one that beat Elwood out, and he beat him out with a 2-tire call. So the 7 votes for just right sides.
Going to be interesting there, but Hearn staying out. He has no fresh set of tires left. Scioli still has 2 fresh ones for the left side if he chooses to come down. Weishart still has a set and a half left in pit road. Bryce Senesac, I believe he still has a set left, but we'll see if he's still going to restart in second or if the admins are going to give him the EOL for that caution. But everyone else behind, they're all on their last set of Goodyear Eagles, and we'll see how this restart shakes up.
All right, so About 40 laps left, make it 39 this time through. If we go green from this restart all the way to the finish, that's only about 13 minutes of racing. That's how intense it's going to be. I predict we'll see at least a couple more yellows, if not all one big gaggle of them at the tail end of the race. Here's your recap again. 39 laps remaining, 9 yellows for 40 of our 152 laps. That's a better statistic than the last couple of nights. And then 3 leaders, 6 lead changes at the front of the field.
Looks like the 09's going to stay in second, so it seems like the admins have deemed that a racing incident. So no harm, no foul there. The 09 going to try and use his track position as best as he can to stay in front. He's going to have the 7 restarting behind him on 2 tires, but from Elwood on back, these guys are on 4 fresh sets of Goodyear Eagles, and the lights are out on the pace car. We'll go green next time by.
You're watching the Area Lodgebox Series playoffs, round 3 of 5. Next week at Michigan, we eliminate our bottom 4 from the championship and select our top 4 for the season finale at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in 2 weeks' time. Cameron Hearn in the number 67, trying to control his own destiny tonight, and winning this race would certainly go a long way to doing that. Really early launch for the 67. He is gone. Catches Senesac sleeping. Scioli gets blocked up on the outside lane. Here comes Weishart on the bottom.
Well, he knows what being the leader advantages have. As here comes Scioli down to the bottom. He could go as long as that pace car has all 4 tires below the racing line, and as soon as he saw that, he mashed it because he knows everyone else behind him, mostly everyone, has newer tires, and he's going to try and get away from them as far as possible.
Good call, because Elwood is on a mission. Look at him come on the outside now, graced the wall, but he is coming with a head of steam around the outside of the 09, locked up the tire. There's Beckner right behind, and more all coming with a fresh set of Goodyear tires and enough time to get back to the lead should this go green to the end. Big moment for the 49, though. He locked it up into 1.
Yeah, fortunately he was clear of anyone to his inside or outside, so didn't have to worry about that. Beckner, though, going to try and get around on the outside. Going to get around the 09 of Senesac, very close there. But the 7 of Scioli's really closed in on the bumper of Hearn, as Theory and Senesac still door-to-door for the top 5 spot.
Yeah, his call isn't exactly working out for the 09. He's kind of been struggling here. As for the lead, here comes Scioli to the inside. Hearn slid up on exit, and here comes the 7 car.
Yeah, he's going to pay for that. Scioli to the lead. Can he go 3 for 3 in the playoffs?
And let's go back and see how it happened. There's the tail end of it. Just got a really good run out of turn 2. This was kind of 2 corners coming. Drops down into turn 3 with a great run as we got a caution, and it's Greg Mitchell in the 2 car. He spun around in turn 4.
Right. We'll take a look at a replay, and boy, kind of caught up in the 3-wide pickle there. Ooh, a lot going on there. Hendricks on the bottom, Weishart getting into Mitchell, but man, a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah, the 94 goes to the inside of the 33 in a big dive, and Weishart leaves him enough space, but just clips the 2. I'm not sure that Greg Mitchell expected to be 3 wide down there, and the 33 might have moved up a little bit too much. The 2 car didn't really leave enough space for all that to happen, and they all just kind of came together. Racing incident for me with 30 laps to go. Now, if you're Cameron Hearn, do you jump ship? You're in trouble now because you don't have anywhere to jump ship to.
Can't jump ship. You have to stay on it. It's either sink or swim, and it looks like he might sink with the ship. Got no fresh sets left unless he puts on, I don't know if you could even put on slicks or anything like that, but he's stuck with what he's got.
Yeah, I don't think you can choose scuffed tires yet, put back on your car, so you're kind of stuck with what you got at this stage. And with 30 laps to go, Cameron Hearn might have to start resorting to the chrome horn to get that spot back and just hope there's chaos behind him. The best thing for Cameron Hearn is that he gets to the inside lane and just gets yellow after yellow after yellow so that he avoids having to utilize the tires that he's got. So just for reference, the 67, last pit 45 laps ago. Of course, Ellwood right behind him, last pit 30 laps later than that. So that's the difference, is about 30 laps. We've seen that be a pretty significant difference in overall pace once the green flag drops all night long. So Cameron's really kind of in a tight spot here he's got to make do with what he's got. He can't bail the pit lane. There's nothing left down there for him.
Yeah, really nothing else he can do other than just hope and pray that it's a caution fest to the end. Because he entered tonight -3 from the cutoff line. Although he's had a really solid showing, if he can stay inside the top 5, that'll really help him going into Michigan. But, you know, a win relieves all the pressure from you, especially in this stage of the playoffs.
You're watching the Area Lodgebox Series playoffs here from Martinsville Speedway. The third to last round of the season. We head to Michigan next week, as we mentioned. First up on Monday will be the Area Elite Entertainment Series. That'll be headed to Michigan, followed by the CNC Log and Truck Series on Tuesday, and of course the Lodgebox Series on Thursday of next week. 3 races Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, live on twitch.tv/Area iRacing. James Scioli leads the way with just under 30 laps to go. He has won the first 2 races of the playoffs. Could he go 3 for 3 tonight? He's in a good spot to do it, but I think that 49 is in an even better spot here.
Yeah, he's in a better spot. The 7 got 2 tires, 67 on old tires. Elwood really the first one with fresh tires out of the rest of the field. Beckner, though, on the outside, but 7 car is the control car, so we'll see where he chooses to restart the race from.
All right.
Well, he's starting on the bottom, but we'll see how he gets it on the restart.
Well, he's already gone. Accelerates away. Scioli back to the green. Leaves everybody else in a little bit of a panic behind, trying to get speed, get pace. Elwood beats the 67 to turn 1. That's an important pass for the 49. Here comes Therian as well. Great drive through the center of 2. Hearn's going the wrong direction.
Now, I would expect that to happen with the old tires he's got. Trying to hang on to everything he can, but really good showing here for Shane Therian if he can get up into 3rd.
Will his teammate cut him a break here? He will
Nope.
not. Back to throttle, like I said earlier. Even your teammates aren't your teammates tonight. It's just too late in the race for that to be happening. And the 28 and 67, I think they know the deal. That 67 is out of contention for now.
Yeah, he's got to swim with what he's got, and right now 5th would be an okay finish for Hearn, but after the night he's had, not that good.
Now Alan Elwood right behind James Scioli tonight. He has led 98 laps. He's clinched that lap, or the point for leading the most laps. That is all important. But they only give you full points for leading that last one.
Oh yeah, that's where you get the most points out of it.
Up on the front straightaway, Scioli leads by just over half a second. And a little bit deeper the field, A.J. Roderick right ahead of Bryce Senesac. Dominic DeLeo still making do with that front end. He's got another body panel tacked on it at least. That should help a little bit. Meanwhile, Travis Beckner knocking on the rear tailpipes of Shane Therian.
Therian again having the run he needed to. Really hasn't had a good playoff race yet, but with the way everything's gone tonight, he stayed out of trouble for the most part. Here's Beckner trying to put him in some trouble.
That was really close into turn 3. Beckner a little bit later on the brakes. Therian slipped out of turn 2. But Beckner didn't brake quite late enough. Now, Elwood's losing ground here to Scioli. This is not something I expected. I thought that 49 car was the fastest one here tonight, but Scioli is pulling away. And he could go 3 for 3 with 20 laps to go this time through. About 6 minutes worth of racing. That's all he needs. Just needs it to go green from here to the end.
It's almost like deja vu from Homestead, where Scioli had the older tires and Elwood had the fresher tires, but Elwood could not catch up.
I think this time they're both on the same strategy. Scioli and Elwood both pitted under that last caution flag. Shane Therian, by the way, same situation there. Cameron Hearn, though, that's the difference. 56-lap-old Goodyears at this stage.
Yeah, but Scioli took 2, and I didn't think 2
right.
would hold up as well as 4 from Elwood, because we saw Weishart We saw Weishart take 2, and he dropped like a rock. So I'm shocked that the 7 car has yet to do the same. He's actually stayed pretty close to the front, but Elwood trying to close him back in.
Yeah, it's a good point you bring up the 2-tire situation, because typically at these flat short tracks, you actually wear out the left front tire quite a bit as well. I'm a little surprised it hasn't been a bigger deal for that particular car as we watch a battle for 7th. A.J. Roderick Dominic DeLeo, the white and pink 56 and the blue Ford on the inside.
DeLeo continuing to climb with the damage he's had to his car. He's been slowly repairing it as the race has gone on. And P7, not anymore. He's going around.
And that's going to tag the 09 as well.
No, right center stack.
Across the racetrack.
Got the yellow.
Yeah, there it is.
Wow. I was just going to say, doing good with what he's been through tonight. And as soon as I say that, I swear, commentator's curse happens all the time.
56 just rolled a lot of speed through the center there and knocked the 46 around. Senesac almost got through. Did a good job locking it down to not get more damage out of that, but not much he could have done different. Did the 09 at least.
He's fortunate to get too much damage in that as he's going on the bottom. Oh, just gets clipped. Did not hit the wall. I don't think he got hit behind. It was close between him and Greg Mitchell in the 2. But, 15 laps to go. We're going to have another restart here, Kyle. And we'll see what that 49 of Elwood is capable to do, because we saw Monday night, Nick Johnston, as soon as he got the chance to get down on the bottom, he moved Jake Nichols out of the way. Could we see something similar between Scioli and Elwood?
We absolutely could. These guys up front have been playing pretty nice so far, but that was the case in the Elite Entertainment race as well. They played nice until they didn't. So the challenge is we're going to get a restart that's with about maybe 10 laps to go, maybe 11. And the next caution after that will probably be close enough to the finish to be a green-white checkered. So at most, you're probably going to get 2 opportunities left. And if I'm Shane Therian, I don't really want to wait until that second opportunity because it might not come. The other thing I don't want to do is I don't want to wreck the guy out of the way or push him out of the way and leave him in a position where he can get me back if there is that second opportunity. So this is kind of a lose-lose if you knock someone out of the way at this stage. So you have to, if you're going to crash him, you got to crash him, Hunter. I think you got to finish him off. I don't think you can do any of this bump and run stuff. Not on this restart. If we have another one, then I think you're good to just knock him out of the way. But don't give him a chance to come back. That's what happened on Monday night, I should say. There was opportunity for retaliation, and it ended up getting messy.
Yeah, and we heard from Jake Nichols afterwards, after the contact made between him and Johnston. Nichols said that he knew that it was coming and that he had to do what he had to do, referring to Johnston, what he had to do. But Elwood's got quite a bit of points to his name. So does Scioli, but Elwood knows if that 7 car makes it to the Championship 4, it's going to be brutal on him trying to stay in front of that 7 if these two do make it to the Championship 4. So he's got to keep that in mind when he gets into this restart. If he gets into the 7 might remember that, and who knows what could happen in Vegas.
Yeah, don't make enemies if you don't have to. If you're already in a spot where you're safe enough that you don't think you need to take the risk, I wouldn't at this stage. I don't think it's worth it, especially if you know the other guy will probably also make it, Scioli being that other guy. So I wouldn't be really willing to crash somebody for this. I might be willing to give him a rough bumper, but only on the last lap. I wouldn't give him another chance. We're going to come to a restart with 10 laps to go. Should we go about 4 laps and get a yellow, it will be a green-white checkered. Should we get an instant caution after this restart, we will likely have another opportunity to get a restart in before we go into overtime.
And we'll see how this restart goes. Pace car, hard left turn on the pit road. Scioli, the control car. Elwood on the outside. Therian and Beckner, the 2 cars behind the front 2. So here we go, Alpha turn 4, green flag back in the air here at Martinsville.
Good launch. Scioli did everything he needed to do there, but Elwood is close. The 38's to the inside, though. That'll prevent him from turning down on exit. Coming to 9 laps to go. Good battles behind him. 38 of Therian, real defensive to get to the inside. Beckner can't do much with that, and here comes Hearn back to the bottom.
Yep, Hearn trying to get around Beckner. Not going to do much. Beckner on the outside. They're trying to get a run on the outside of Therian as there's Ed Morris and Bryce Senesac. Boy, Ed Morris could get a top 10 here.
Still a lot of shuffling here. The 28 getting shuffled out of the way. Teammate wants back by. 8 laps to go.
Well, those two have already made contact once. Wouldn't be surprised if they made contact again.
Yeah, that'd be the last thing I'd want to do right now if I was Beckner. Oh, he's going to slip and slide. He's out of control in the wall. The 28 car crashes. He keeps the car straight. For now, we stay green. But Travis Beckner, who ran up front all night long, falls to the bottom half of the top 10. And the 49's in the wall. Here comes Therian to the inside.
Wow.
Here's what happened. All on his own, just gets in really hot, and the car just slides up the racetrack. And he caught it, but the 38 went by. So move Therian up into second place. The 67 and 49 now fight for third.
Big break for Hearn. 2 cars having a problem in front of him, although Elwood's now back to the bumper of the 67. Boy, if Hearn could get a podium out of this would be a remarkable recovery.
That would be well done, all things considered. Kind of messing up the strategy. Be a great way to end the night. Scioli, though, is only 5 laps away from going 3 for 3. If there was any doubt who is the strongest car going into our next cutoff race at Michigan next week, that doubt will be eliminated if he could win all 3 races in the playoffs so far.
Back though in third, big stack up starting to form. Hearn, Elwood, then you got Dom DeLeo in the top 5.
Ow.
And then Davey Hendricks and David Weishart. I don't know. DeLeo makes it work.
Never give up. That's a great reason. DeLeo not in the playoffs, but still giving it his all. He's running 5th right now with 3 laps to go.
These two had a blast weekend. Elwood said that that's not the way he wants to race, so would assume that it might go clean to the finish here for these two, but with 2 laps left, all bets are off.
If Scioli can get back around to the stripe, he would be in a great position. The 38 power sliding, trying to find something to catch James Scioli with. It might just put him at risk of losing a spot to Hearn or Elwood. But this time through, white flag for James Scioli back at Homestead, the first round of the playoffs. He won the race even though he wasn't the dominant car. At the Roval, he was the dominant car. He won that race. He comes into Martinsville, was just in the top 5 lurking. He plays the strategy right. 3 for 3. Scioli is going to the final round. He gets it done here at Martinsville. 3rd win in 3 races.
In a row for that 7 car, and now he's going to go into championship 4 with ease. He's going to go into Michigan with ease. He's locked himself into the championship 4. Boy, what a time to get hot for that number 7 of James Scioli.
Yeah, it wasn't dominant tonight. He only led 34 laps, much less than Hearn or Elwood. But it doesn't matter. He's going to walk away with the victory for the 3rd week in a row. And he's getting hot, as you mentioned, Hunter, at the right time. This is going to pay dividends for him. He can go into Michigan next week with not a care in the world. When he goes into Las Vegas, all he can focus on is the championship.
And folks, the South Beach Heat works. I don't know how many times we got to say it. That 7 car keeps winning. That South Beach Heat keeps on coming to the track week in and week out. Man, that's the key to success right there. The Rick's Hot Sauce South Beach Heat flavored hot sauce. I mean, you got to get yourself a bottle. It's working for the 7. It could work for you.
It is working for the 7. Here's a look. In terms of our playoff competitors, 6 of them in the top 10. Richard Thomas and Garrett Grant, 15th and 16th. Not great results for them. Alan Elwood, though, that late race mistake cost him a lot. Drops to 4th. Despite him coming in with a strong points lead, it'll be a little bit of a loss tonight. Shane Therian, what a great recovery for him, up to 2nd. Was never really much of a factor until that last 50 or 60 laps. Cameron Hearn, another driver that things could have gone further south than they did, was dominant early. Might have had a chance to win this race had he played the strategy a little better, but 3rd is certainly not going to be a complaint from the 67.
Hearn had a fortunate break there with the 28 of Beckner and the 49 of Elwood, bobbling on the newer tires. Hearn was, how long did he stay out with those older tires? Was it 70-some laps that he had on the older tires?
Looking at the information for Hearn, it was 74 laps, yes, that he stayed out with those tires.
74, yeah, and everybody else had newer tires on except Scioli. Well, he had 2 newer tires. Everyone else had 2 more newer tires than the 7. But Hearn fortunate to have a big break there. Otherwise, he was going to get 5th. He gets 3rd instead. And in fifth is Dominic DeLeo. How about that? With all the damage that he had on his car, he was able to get the front bumper back on and it got some speed for that 46.
Yeah, good run for him. Davey Hendricks salvaged the night with the 6th. Not really going to be the night that he needed to put himself securely in that championship 4, but not a bad night. Bryce Senesac in 8th. An okay night, but not going to be great for the points. A.J. Roderick, Edward Morris Sr., Jacob Hudson, Greg Mitchell, Garrett Grant, Richard Thomas. Poor nights for those guys. They're going to be hunting for more positions next time out at Michigan. They're going to need kind of a miracle, I'd say, to get themselves in position at this stage.
Yeah, it's looking like those two are going to be in a must-win scenario, and that's a shame for Richard Thomas, too. Was running in 5th or 6th, and then just all of a sudden gets caught up in a wreck and goes flipping at the paperclip. Unfortunately there for Richard Thomas, but if he shows up to Michigan with the same speed he had tonight, then wouldn't surprise me if he wins his way into the championship 4. It's happened last season. It will happen, pretty sure it will happen this season. Got 3 different series going to Michigan, and last season for Cup, the 8th seeded driver locked himself into the championship 4 with a win at Michigan. So we'll have to see what Michigan has in store for us next week.
Well, Cameron Hearn finished 3rd of the number 67 Ford. Cameron, tonight was an interesting one. Lots of different strategy plays coming on pit lane. You got to run yourself out of tires there at the end. It looked like things were going to go south, but you salvaged to 3rd. You have to be pretty happy with that, all things considered, although I know you had the pace to go out there and potentially win the race too.
Yeah, it's going to make going to next week pretty stressful. I think me and Davey are going to be 1 or 2 points separated. Yeah, strategy. I thought at one point we'd get a long run, and we did it. I just timed it wrong. But looking back, is vision's always 2020, right? But going forward, rest of the season, definitely want to take tires into effect. Tires made a big difference, as you saw. So you definitely need them there at the end. But luckily, there was some battling going on in front of me. That caution helped me get the field back up and wear their tires out a little bit. But top 3, after I thought I might fall off the top 5, a good night, solid night.
Yeah, looking ahead to Michigan next week, how confident are you? I know you said it's going to make you stressful, but is that a track that you kind of jive well with? Is it a place that you're concerned about how you will run, or more the scenario that you have going into it?
I think I'm going to run a little bit differently than since I'm playoff racing, trying to make it, into the Final 4. It's one of those tracks that, it's almost wide open, but eventually your tires wear out, and you don't want to be on the outside of a guy that starts pushing off the corner. And just trying to stay out of trouble is the main thing. And then, me and Davey are racing for it. As long as someone else doesn't win, right? Someone else wins that's currently outside the top 4 or 5 in points, then, that's another thing you have to take into effect too. So just racing other cars around here in points.
Well, a lot of things on your mind, I'm sure, Cameron, but all things considered, not a bad way to end the night. 3rd place for the number 67 Ford. Hey, Cameron, thanks for talking to us, and best of luck to you next week. We'll be following closely.
I appreciate it, guys. You have a good night. Thank you.
Moving on now to our 2nd place runner, Shane Therian, who finished 2nd in the night after kind of running mired in the back half of the top 10. Shane, he came on through for a 2nd. Maybe one more spot would have been nice, but you can't be disappointed in a night like that.
I don't belong here. I didn't deserve a 2nd, but I mean, I'll take it. I was so bad. I was just playing team Carl, and I was like, all right, Davey needs points, Richard needs points. I'm 21 to the good, so I was just letting them be in front of me, and then wrecks happened. So I was like, all right, well, here we go. But I'll take a 2nd. I was not good at all race.
Well, sometimes as a race car driver, you'd rather be lucky than good, and maybe tonight was a little bit more the former. But as you look ahead to Michigan and then the season finale at Las Vegas, this is going to put you in a good spot. You're in a good spot. How do you feel about Michigan, and how do you feel about that season finale should you be one of those Final 4?
I feel better about Michigan now that I finished 2nd here. Vegas, it's gonna. I don't know. It's gonna be tire saving at Vegas. So it's just, if it's Scioli, me, Hearn, and Allen, it's gonna be those 3, and then I'm just gonna be somewhere. But yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, but Michigan, I might have a chance. I'm good there. Vegas, long runs, not so much. So if I make the Final 4, it'll be 2 years in a row. So I'll take that at least.
Well, I think you'll take it, Shane. And I know you didn't belong here, but I'd say you did. Outlasting the best of the rest is sometimes how you have to get it done. So congratulations. We'll see you at Michigan. Best of luck there.
Yeah, thank you.
And with that, our a three-time winner in the playoffs alone. James Scioli gets it done tonight. He led about 30 or so laps, which was less than the other two big leaders tonight. But James, the tail end of the race, it kind of played right into your hands. Tire strategy, pit stops, that late race restart that you drove away. You got yourself in a great position heading into Michigan next week, and then kind of no stress there into Las Vegas. So 3 for 3 the last couple of times we've chatted. So congratulations, first of all, and your thoughts on tonight. It wasn't a dominant run, but it was a winning one.
No, it definitely wasn't a dominant one. Sitting behind cars, it was really hard to get the car to rotate, and it was pretty easy on exit. You didn't really spin tires a lot, so you could. It was pretty hard to get a run on somebody. So big shout out to David. He had taken 2 tires earlier in the race and said that it wasn't too bad, and that he actually felt like it was better than 4 tires, at least on a short run. So I gambled there on that last pit stop, knew that I wasn't going to pass him just sitting behind him and doing the same thing. So I took 2 tires, and I think if it would have went green, I think I would have had no tires left, no left side tires left, and probably would have lost the race. But the cautions fell just when we needed them to, and I saw Elwood locking up in my mirror, which was big. So just kind of gave me the breakaway I needed. Definitely didn't expect this win, especially the way that the race started, but 3 for 3 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a perfect score, batting 1,000 so far in the playoffs. Let's not focus on Michigan because you're pretty set there. Let's focus on Las Vegas. How do you feel about that season finale racetrack, and do you think you can get it done there? Certainly the strategy is on your side, and the speed isn't bad either.
Yeah, the speed's been good, so we're definitely going to start practicing for Vegas now. It's one of my better, probably my best 1.5 miles in the Xfinity car, maybe that in Kansas. So if the setup drives like I hope it does, and the track temp's pretty hot, and maybe it gets kind of slick, I think I got a real good chance. So as good a chance as anybody. So hopefully it'll fall in our favor.
Well, James Scioli gets it done 3 for 3 in the playoffs. Congratulations. Best of luck to you next week in Michigan. You're kind of in a position where all you have to do is go out there and perform. But at Las Vegas in 2 weeks, you'll be fighting for a championship. So best of luck there.
Thank you, and big thanks to Bell Weishart Esports and Rick's Hot Sauce for being on the car. Use code Scioli, rickshotsauce.com, get you $7 off, and thanks to you guys in the booth. The broadcast has been amazing, of course, and all the admins, especially for this Martinsville week. It's kind of been a brutal one, so hopefully it was a fun one to watch tonight.
Well, just like the hot sauce, getting hot at the right time, James. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Hunter, wrapping things up for the night. What a drive by James Scioli. What a drive by Therian and Hearn to make it happen at the end. Elwood just shy of getting a victory there. He was the dominant car tonight. Didn't get to see it. But Michigan next week, we're going to the antithesis of the Martinsville Paperclip, a big, fast 2-mile oval.
Yeah, that'll be a drastic change from what we saw here at the half-mile Paperclip to the 2-mile D-shaped oval. A lot of banking and a lot of fast speeds at Michigan, and you can catch it all on the Area iRacing Twitch channel and on the Sim TV YouTube channel, starting Monday night with the Elite Entertainment Cup Series and Tuesday night with the CNC Logging Truck Series. And a week from tonight, we'll eliminate 4 from the Lodgebox Series and then get everything set up for Championship Week at Vegas.
Well, that's going to do it for the broadcast tonight. Thanks so much for watching twitch.tv/Area iRacing and on the SimTV YouTube channel. James Scioli, 3 for 3 here at Martinsville. He gets it done, stacks the papers at the Paperclip. Another win in the pile for Scioli. We'll see you at Michigan next week. The 2-mile oval up next.